Miss Marvel was an absolute gem of a show. It gets my highest rating of all the Phase 4 stuff. Not all. I'm not gonna say all the, but certainly all the Disney Plus stuff,
Streaming. So yeah.
streaming stuff. Because as I said before, when I was watching the first episode, and I'm thinking to myself, it's going to be another WandaVision. It's going to be another Loki. In other words, it's like light beer. WandaVision, Quantumania, Ant-Man, all these things are like light beer. The movie's there. It exists. It isn't bad, but it isn't good. There's no passion in it. There's no sense of, I need to do something of worth and of value. I'm sorry. WandaVision is blah. Loki starts off with some really good performances, ends up blah. By the way, another thing we need to talk about is Kang too, because Kang is going to be a very key role. Is going to be the main Marvel villain. So there's so much to talk about. But anyway, so as Miss Marvel is being talked about, I'm watching the beginning. I'm thinking to myself, if I had the opportunity, I would do the best thing that I could possibly do with this character. And from that thought on, I had the expectation that it was going to be another blasé thing. Every single moment was like, this is on point, on point, on point, on point, on point. It was just so good. Every aspect of it. My goodness, that young lady that plays Miss Marvel is an absolute gem.
Like I told you when you and I talked about this before, I love the fact that they left her a teenager.
Yes. Yes.
That never changes throughout the course of that show. And that's part of the thing that holds it together. And I love that they left her family as her family.
Yes, yes.
They're her guiding points throughout the whole doggone thing. And that works.
It works 1,000%. Her Abu, the relationship between her and Abu, the relationship between her and her mom, the relationship between her and her brother. Like, I loved every aspect. By the way, I'm sure you noticed, as I did, this is basically, it's Peter Parker. It's Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man. It's that, and that's why they've never quite delivered with Spider-Man. It's that aspect, the coming of age, discovering your powers, almost like through puberty, and dealing with the angst and issues of that. And to me, it was just brilliantly, the connections, the relationships, it was just brilliantly done. And the show was not only entertaining, but it was also informative. Like, I learned about the partition. I learned about different cultures. It's so important. It was so important. It was an absolute breath of fresh air. And it has the highest approval rating. People like it the most of all the Disney shows, but unfortunately the lowest viewership. But I hope word of mouth gives it a second season, and that it continues the quality that it had.
I agree completely, but what I've heard on the grapevine is that Marvel may only allow it to have that one season.
Oh, really?
I'm hoping that's not the case.
Well, the character won't be dead, because I guess the next Marvel series is going to be the Miss Marvel family and all that stuff. And so I guess she's going to be, and then I'm sure she's going to be in the Avengers and stuff like that. So they're trying to incorporate her.
Right.
It's funny because I feel like the MCU is doing a better job at presenting these alternative characters than the comic books did. Like, I didn't resonate with Ms. Marvel in the comic books. I didn't resonate with Sam Wilson, Captain America in the comic books. I love Sam Wilson, Captain America in the Falcon and Winter Soldier series. And I love this Ms. Marvel. I'm a fan. I'm an absolute fan.
It all stems back to what they did as actors.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
And if you'll allow me just for 2 seconds, even though I know Terrence Howard was replaced as Rhodey.
Yeah.
At one point, they were talking about replacing Sam. And I'm really glad that they didn't, as far as Anthony Mackie was concerned, because it was being talked about at some point.
What was to replace Anthony Mackie or to replace Sam Wilson?
No, to replace Anthony Mackie as Sam. And it kind of, when all that was being talked about at Marvel, because I have an interview where Anthony Mackie said at one point they really weren't sure if they were going to keep me. It just kind of made me go back and think about all that mishmash that was going on with Terrence Howard. I am so glad that they allowed Anthony Mackie to build and to grow as Falcon and as Sam.
Agreed. I agree wholeheartedly. And I think he did a fantastic job. Before we